All right, so as you can see, I got a whole new setup.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag.
All right, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishan, and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a toddler, all of the things. So if that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below, and be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss any uploads. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. Okay, so I just wanted to first tell y'all that the new setup is compliments of my husband. He said that, my background was lacking. So, we did a little bit of, I guess, remodeling in the corner. So this is going to be my setup from now on. May change a couple of things, but just seeing how it all works out. But today, let's get to the tea. I wanted to talk about just working a 9-to-5, how to make it work for you, and how to be happy working in your 9-to-5. So I think that our society places a lot of importance on having your own business, doing your own thing outside of a 9-to-5, which I understand, right? But not everybody wants to own their own business. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And just coming from my standpoint, I am working a 9-to-5. I'm happy actually working in my 9-to-5, but one day I do hope to have my own thing. So if you are kind of struggling in that area, trying to figure out how do I make this work for me? How do I live a life that I actually enjoy while working for someone else? Definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so my first tip for being happy and being paid in your 9-to-5 is to look at industries that resonate with your personality and with what you actually love to do. So for example, if you're an introvert, you may not thrive in a position where you're customer facing and always having to talk to new people. That might be a little overwhelming for you, and it might not be something that you want to do long term. You might be more happy with a position where you get your task and you're able to complete them with little to no human interaction, maybe just your coworkers and your manager, and that just might be better for you overall personality wise. But if you are more of an extrovert, then maybe a sales or customer facing type position might be better because it'll give you the opportunity daily to interact with people, which is something that you love to do on a regular. I think a lot of times when people aren't happy in their positions, it's not always the pay, it's not always the company, it just might be work that does not work with their personality. So you really got to figure out what you want to deal with day in and day out, because a lot of times if you're working a 9-to-5, that's 8 hours. So 40 hours of your week, sometimes more if you're doing overtime. You don't want to be stuck in something that you're just simply not happy with. So figure out the types of jobs that work with your personality that kind of, I guess, are within your comfort zone, and that'll help you determine what type of roles and industries you should go after for your long-term career. Okay, so my next tip in being happy and paid at your 9-to-5 is to figure out what type of education and training you need to be successful in these positions. So obviously, if you're looking to be a lawyer, if you're looking to be a doctor or something like that, it's going to be a lot of education, probably a lot of money to go to these institutions to get the skills that you need. But if you're more comfortable with, let's say, doing a trade, you might be able to just spend a couple of years in school, or sometimes even a few months. There are a lot of programs where you can get a certification within some months and not years. So you can look into programs like that, but kind of figure out what you need to do, how much you're willing to prepare for these positions. There are a lot of roles too where you don't necessarily need education, you just need work experience. So I can kind of say with my job, I work in insurance, obviously, and I did need a degree to get into the insurance industry, but for some roles you don't necessarily need an actual degree. And then also for a lot of the roles, in order to move up, they really want you to have experience. So even if you have a degree, that may get you in the door, but you just need to be willing to put in the hours, the years to get the experience so you can move on to other roles. So kind of figure out what you want to do there. Are you someone that's wanting to go to school for a long time? Are you a little bit older and you're kind of looking to get into something right away? Think about those things and just figure out what you're willing to sacrifice to get to the next level so you can be happy at your place of employment. Okay, so my third tip, which I think is super, super important, and this can kind of be a make or break for some people, is to figure out if you are happy with a salary type position where you're pretty much guaranteed a certain amount of money every 2 weeks, or are you more comfortable with a commission-based position where you kind of are competing for your salary, and the more work you put in, the more you can get out, or vice versa. Figure out which one of those works for you. So I have experience in this firsthand because most of my jobs have been hourly or salary, but I did do some commission-based work when I was working in the auto industry, rental and then selling vehicles, and this was for the same company. So I thought that I would be good with like a commission-based type role, but what bothered me about that role was that it was uncertain how much money I was going to have from month to month. There were some months where, I'd be killing it and I would be just making all the money. Like I had a really good, super high paid months. But then there were other months where things were slow and my checks showed that. So it was an hourly role, but then also we got commission from selling vehicles, or when I was in the rental portion, we got commission off of the protection products that we would sell. So the pay was very inconsistent. I did not like that. So for me, I knew that moving forward, I was going to need a job where I knew exactly what I was going to have every 2 weeks, or at least a ballpark of what I was going to have, so I could determine where I could live, what type of food I could buy, my recreation, all that stuff. So figure out that before you take a sales job, because a sales job might not be for you if you're not okay with that inconsistency. But if you are somebody that is like always looking for a challenge, somebody that wants to be kind of in control of their income, then the sales position might be good for you. So definitely when you're thinking about going into different industries, figure out how you want to be paid and what would be best for you long term. Okay, so my fourth tip is about benefits. Really think about what type of benefits you need to make your life easy. Think about what type of benefits you need for your lifestyle. Me, for example, I need vision all the time because I wear contacts, I wear glasses. So for me, I need to have separate vision. For my husband, for example, he has 20/20 vision, so he doesn't necessarily put a big emphasis on like having vision coverage. His medical and dental is perfect for him. So think about the things that you need in order to live your best life and all that stuff. And even with benefits, you want to look at the vacation time. Like, are you somebody who goes on yearly vacations and you need, a couple of weeks, a couple of months or whatever? Look at that type of stuff, because if you are a type of person that goes on a month-long vacation every year, but you only get 2 weeks of vacation at, whatever job it is, that's not going to work for you. So really think about the things that you need from your company and start looking for companies that offer these type of things. Now, you got Standard, typically in Southern California. I don't know about other places, but Standard is going to be like your 2-week vacation. But my current job right now has like 3 weeks of vacation, but as the years go on, I think like once you hit like year 5, you can get like 4 and so on and so forth. So look at things like that to just see if these are things that you'd be comfortable with long term. Also understand that sometimes your needs are going to change. So whereas right now you might not need a whole bunch of vacation because you don't plan on taking like all those days, maybe a few years down the line when you have a family or, get married or whatever the case may be, you might need additional vacation or additional life insurance coverage or, whatever. So think about the things that you need and look for companies that are able to kind of give you that. I do think that things like that kind of make or break like your happiness at work. Really what you want to do is make sure that you're working for companies that can kind of meet your needs as well as you meeting their needs. You know what? So before I move on to the next topic, also with the benefits, if you do a contract position, a lot of times those roles will pay a little bit more than, let's say, just a regular salaried position. But because it's a contract and it's only maybe a year contract, maybe 2-year contract, sometimes only a few months, you don't get actual benefits. So depending on where you are in life, that might be okay for you just to get that bigger lump sum up front. And then you can just find another contract, but you would be responsible for getting your own benefits. But with other companies, like you would actually get a salary and your benefits would be a part of that as well. So you would just kind of do everything through your company. So figure out what makes more sense to you, figure out what's important, and then that'll help you determine what industries you should look at and what companies and jobs would be best for you. Okay, so my last tip is kind of more geared towards people that are already, let's say, established in their career and they're kind of determining are getting to a point where they're like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Really look at why you're unhappy and figure out, is it the industry or is it the company that I'm working for? So I can also speak to that firsthand. I, for a minute, did not know if I wanted to continue with insurance because I was going through a lot of bullshit at my company at the time. And I was kind of looking for other like avenues I could go down. but I didn't necessarily want to start over in another industry because I feel like, you know, I'm established, I know, I do what I do, and I don't want to necessarily start from the bottom, you know, up, whatever, right now where I'm married with a kid. I want to try to figure out something that can work for me and I can stay in the same industry. So moving insurance companies was the best thing I could have done for myself, because when I moved insurance companies, I noticed that, okay, it's not the job that I don't necessarily like, it was the environment that I was in. So look at things like that, because sometimes it's not the job, sometimes it's not the industry, sometimes it's the company that you're working for. I do think that when you are trying to build your resume and when you're trying to build your pay, it's important to not always jump industries per se, but you can jump companies. A lot of people these days are staying with companies maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, and really that's going to be the best way to build your pay. Because once you get that initial salary, then usually your yearly raises are going to be just incremental. They're not going to be that big unless you're getting a bonus or something like that. But if you switch companies, a lot of times you have more leverage because you know you're able to negotiate your pay. So I say all that to say that in a lot of instances, you might actually be really good at your job and you might actually really like what you do. And when you look at the reasons why you're not happy, a lot of times it's the culture that you're in. So kind of think about those things before you just say, screw this industry, because it might just be a company thing and you might be able to fix that by just simply moving companies and doing your research. All right, you guys, so that is all that I have for you today. I just wanted to do a video and just kind of talk to the people that are working 9-to-5s. Again, I know it's a lot of like pressure in a way to just start your own thing and do your own thing, and I am not against that. Most of my siblings are doing their own thing. And again, one day I hope to be doing my own thing, or at least have something on the side that I'm doing with my 9-to-5, which I'm kind of doing now, you know, I'm just really getting started. But I don't like the fact that in some cases 9-to-5s are demonized, because there are some people that genuinely love their career, that genuinely love what they're doing. And I think if you do it right, you can be happy in either position. So if you are not looking to get into entrepreneurship, or if you just, you know, if you like the comfort of having like a company and just having all your benefits and all that stuff in one place, just make sure that you're doing it correct. There are a lot of companies that treat their employees like crap, but there are companies that really care about their employees and that really want you to thrive. And I think that a lot of it is just really doing research and just not settling. There is always a company that is willing to accommodate you if you're doing your work, if you are willing to learn and just, you know, open-minded. So always keep your options open and just, you know, think about the things and be intentional about the things that you want out of life and that you want out of your job. And honestly, I do feel like you can build a life with a company if that's what you choose to do. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely go on ahead and give me a big thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have not subscribed and you got this far, please go on ahead and click that button below and be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. With that being said, you guys have an amazing day and I'll see you next time.